Yo sup, this is your boy NY3 with the post-invasion vengeance Metalfoes Zing deck profile. And here's the list. The Zing tuners still running all 6. Anything that helps you make Ding Long first turn is very welcome in this deck. And quite often what we are missing to make the Ding Long a we brick is a tuner. So all 6 copies are included. As for the Zing non-tuners, 2 Bixie, 3 BN, and 3 Suani. Pulao has been cut since it is a level 1 that cannot be pendulum summoned. It does have some good synergy with the Speedroid engine, specifically Tatakomborg, but I didn't feel like it was worth it. So 14 poppables. Suani and BN I feel like should both be maxed out, since quite often in the combo I like to dump them for Ding Long to make it a level 3 or a level 4 tuner. So I burned through those real quick. For the Zefra scales, I'm running 5, that's 2 Zefraxi and 3 Zefra New. Now the second Zefraxi is optional. If I were to put the Pulao back, the second Zefraxi is probably what I would cut. But running more scales increases the chance of you opening matching scales, and a pendulum summon play is usually the method I use to break boards going in second. So increasing the consistency of opening matching scales, I feel like is quite important. As for the Metalfoes pendulum scales, 3 Steelin, 3 Silvered, 3 Gold Driver, and 2 Volflame. So this is a very Metalfoes heavy build, and I'll go over the advantages of Zing heavy versus Metalfoes heavy. We can classify our opening hands into 3 major categories. One being a complete brick. These are the ones where you are forced to set a Zing pass, or normal summon a Zing and set a pillars and pass. So these are our brick hands. Our alright hands are the ones where we can at least make a Ding Long, search a pillars, Ding Long drops a Chi-Win into the graveyard and set the pillars. Now these are okay hands. We're going to win more likely than not with these hands. And then finally, we have the wombo combo hands. Now this might not be the full wombo combo, but it's some sort of combo that generates, I'd say, 3 or more negates. Now the advantages of going Metalfoes heavy is that we reduce the chance of the first type of hand as little as possible. These set Zing pass hands, where we can't even make a Ding Long, let alone combo. So this build right here is a very consistency focused build. Now, if we decrease the Metalfoes engine to say about 7, 8, or 9 Metalfoes, then that's going to increase the number of brick hands, but it also increases the overall power of the deck. So having a high Metalfoes count increases the chance of you opening 2, 3, 4 negates. Decreasing the number of Metalfoes and increasing the number of Zings is going to increase the number of 0, 1, 5, or 6 negates. Now 5 or 6 negates, aka the full combo, is extremely overkill. Normally 3 or 4 negates, I say over 95% of the time, is going to seal the game on the first turn. And even if you don't seal the game on the first turn, you're more likely than not going to have far more resources and ending up winning the game anyways. Which is why I decided to go consistency focus over power focus. Maybe in the future, where power is actually an issue, power creep has gotten to the point where 3 or 4 negates cannot beat the best deck of the format, that is when I'll consider reducing the number of Metalfoes in favor of more Zings. It decreases the consistency slightly, but it increases the power as well. Now, Silvered and Gold Driver are the best ones, so they're both maxed out at 3. And that's because Gold Driver with Chi-Win makes Ding Long, Silvered with Jiaotu makes Ding Long. Steelin is not very good, but since Painful Decision cannot search Volflame, I decided to max out on Steelin instead of Volflame, just to keep that Painful Decision as live as possible. For the rest of the monsters, 2 Eccentric Archfiends. These are good to pop back row, to pop monsters, so a very versatile card. We can pendulum summon them back with our Metalfoes scales to get multiple uses out of them, and since it's a level 3, it's the best level for making Ding Long. it can pop our own fusion or combination to trigger their effects, which later we can pendulum the eccentric Archfiend back and make Dinglong in those not very optimal hands. Relying on winning the dice roll and going first every game isn't a very viable strategy, which is why cards like Eccentric makes its way into the main deck. There are several board-breaking cards that can be mained, and I mainly classify these cards as mainable cards because they have favorable interactions going in first. The first is Eccentric Archfiend. It's a scale, it's a very versatile card, it can pop your own stuff, and it makes Dinglong, as I've already said. The next is Maxi, which I'm not maining, but it's a card that lets you draw into your combo pieces. And also, if you brick with Maxi, decks generally can't get over a floater without special summoning multiple times into a Dweller or into an Utopia Lightning, for example. So Maxi is another good choice if you want to consider maining more cards for going second. Humongous is another good choice, although not in the current format, but you can pendulum summon it and your opponent cannot kaiju you. Kaijus aren't being mained right now, which is why I'm not maining it. Book of Eclipse is also a nice card, as is Salravis, the Ascended. Both of these are nice outs to Effect Veiler. You can chain book to Jiaotu if they try to Veiler you. So they have good interactions going in first. And of course they make very good side deck cards as well. These are the main cards that are good going both first and second, and I've chosen the Eccentric Archfiend in the main. Triple Terratop, if you've been watching my combo videos, you already know why I run these. Borg and Red Eye Dice as well to complete the Speedroid engine. And one tech copy of Red Resonator. As you've seen, the number of level 3s we run in this deck, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 19, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we're running 14 level 3s in this deck, as well as several methods to search those level 3s, including using a Metalfoes to pop any Zing to float into a level 3. We're running so much that if you open the Red Resonator, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to make a Dinglong. So this is mainly here to reduce bricks. Since it's not crucial for us to draw up the Red Resonator, I'm not running more than one copy of it, since drawing 2 is pretty pointless. Also, its life gaining effect triggers on Pendulum Summon or Barxia's effect to bring it back from the graveyard, which can be pretty nice when you're going into time. And that's all the monsters. The spell and trap lineup is pretty minimal. One Oracle of Zefra, there's no point not to run a Rhoda, but also not much point to run more than one, since you only can use it once per turn. Metalfoes Fusion, Painful Decision, same story as Oracle. Painful you can potentially go up to 2 however, since it is more versatile than Oracle, but I decided to run 1 to reduce the odds of opening 2 of these to 0. One Pot of Desires, very good card, again not running more than 1, since the deck is plenty consistent enough, since you can only use it once per turn, and this is a combo deck. Soul Charge, again pretty versatile, it can help you combo turn 1, it can help you play around traps and hand traps. One Zing Path, not ideal to draw, you only need one. One Book of Eclipse, just to make going second more bearable. The deck is plenty consistent enough to allow us to run the Book of Eclipse and 2 Eccentric Archfiends in the main deck without decreasing the combo chance by a significant amount. Overall, you should experience something around a 10% chance to brick, a 20% chance to open at least a Dinglong, and the rest of the 70% chance to do some sort of wombo combo that ends you on 3 or more negates. The traps is just the combination and 3 9 pillars. Now the extra deck, running the 1 fusion, which is full Metalfoes Alkahest. So this is a very Metalfoes heavy build, so this actually comes up somewhat often. If you open a hand full of Metalfoes, or if you open the fusion and a bunch of Metalfoes, you want that target in the extra deck to resolve fusion and draw a card, and hopefully draw out of that brick. Out of all the fusions, Alcahest is the only one that actually does something in those brick hand scenarios that can help you survive, which is why I'm running him. Synchros, Herald of Arclight, staple, 2 Dinglongs, 1 Chambera. Chambera is pretty cool since the second effect of Tatakomborg says you can only special summon wind monsters for the rest of the turn. So at the end of your combo, you can Barkseer, pop anything, revive a Terratop, search the Borg, special the Borg, tribute off the Borg to summon the dice, and go into Chambera, regardless of what you special summoned before you use Borg's effect. So it helps with OTKs quite a bit. Chambera has a second effect. I don't think I'll ever pull it off, but it'll be pretty cool if I do. I can synchro with the Chambera, and it can add a banished Speedroid back. So yeah, not running any 6s. The only 7 I run is the 1 Yazi. Occasionally, I wish I had more level 7s, but generally 1 is enough. Now the 8s, Ignister. After cutting both Horus and Trish, having at least one form of non-targeting removal in the extra deck I feel like is still pretty needed. Although non-targeting removal isn't that mandatory in this format anymore. Triple Barkseer, obviously. 1 Omega, which is for when we open the Terratop and another Speedroid or a level 2 Tuna combo, mainly. Omega is also really good. Its graveyard effect recycles itself in any card from your graveyard. So you can put your 1 Yangzing Path back, which is why I don't feel like more than 1 is needed, since you can always recycle it with Omega. It also has cool interactions with Pot of Desires. If you banish your Metalfoes fusion, for example, you can put it back with Omega and get a +1. The only level 9 is the Chaofeng. The final synchro is Nirvana High Paladin. Now you're never gonna summon this in game 1, and it's actually a sided card, but since I wanted to have more space in the side deck, I'm maining this. The last 2 cards are 2 Exceeds. Phantom Knight of Breaksword, which is the main reason why Borgus run, since it turns Terratop into a board breaker that doesn't use the normal summon. And the Hope Harbinger. So the side deck, Winged Dragon of Rasphere mode. I was running the Kaijus before, which is kind of cool since it leaves a monster for you to crash your Yangzings into, but I found that it didn't happen enough, so I might as well run something that might actually be a win condition instead of Kaijus, which is more of a 1-for-1. As if our deck isn't colorful enough with every colored card, I'm siding 1 Salravis. It's good for going both first and second. Going first, it can stop Effect Veiler. Going second, it can stop things like Buster Dragon, Alcahest, Kieran, Farfa, Fogblade. But I feel like that Book of Eclipse is better than this in almost every way, which is why I'm only running 1 of this and 3 Book of Eclipses. You can also search it off Herald of the Arclight. It's just another added bonus. A Retaliating Sea, Flying Sea, and Max Sea. A Retaliating against Metalfoes, pretty good. Flying Sea against ABCs, mainly. They can still fuse, sure, but if you stop their turn 1, you should be able to make a counter push since they don't have that Buster Dragon to answer your normal summon. Maxi is mainly there for a search target of Retaliating Sea, and it's not a bad card, so it's worth siding. 2 Dark Holes and 2 Book of Eclipses for the board breakers, 2 Anti-Magic Arrows and 2 Twin Twisters to get rid of back row, and the final 2 cards is the Heavy Slump and Beatrice. This along with the Nirvana High Paladin is the Slump combo. So yeah, that's the deck profile for my Metalfoes Yangzing build right now. How viable is this deck in this format? I'd say very viable. I expect to see at least 2 or 3 in Yangzings in Top Cut for YCS Anaheim. Best of luck to anyone who decides to take this deck to YCS Anaheim, as well as all of our roundtable members. As for how this deck measures up against the other 3 variants, which are all pretty viable. Now against the Demise build and against the Ding Long Turbo build, I say this is better. All three of these builds are terrible at going second, but excellent at going first. And out of these three builds, the Metalfoes build, I'd say is the most consistent of the lot. Now the fourth build is the only other build I would really consider, and that's the Go Second build. Now the Go Second build, you would main cards such as Brilliant Fusions, Unexpected Die, E-Tele, Instant Fusion. Its first turn combo chance is pretty similar to this build, but yeah, it can go first almost as well as this build, and go second much better than this build, which is why I consider that the other best build of Yang Zing's. The deck I just shown has a total deck count of 48. You can cut and add cards as you want. This deck can really be anywhere between 39 and 49 cards without influencing consistency too much. If you go below 45, you'll find that you'll draw your brick cards such as the Borg, Dice, Fusion, or Combination much more, and you'll have less space to run board breakers such as Eclipse and Eccentric in the main deck. And if you don't run those, your Pot of Desires also becomes much worse. Since if you're going second, regardless of how many free cards you get of cards such as Desires, if your deck doesn't have anything worth drawing into that can break boards, it's a pretty useless card, which is why I favor a higher deck count of 48. But yet the going second build, where you run Brilliant and Die, etc. Now that build has optimal deck size between 50 and 60. Now normally I'm all about the higher deck sizes, since you maintain the same ratio of combo pieces in your deck, except you draw your brick cards less. But I also feel like this is the main weakness of the Go Second build, is games 2 and 3. Since your deck size is larger, you have a slightly less chance of drawing your sided cards. Also, your board breaking cards loses to the same floodgates. I mean, sure, Brilliant Fusion into a Yazi without using your normal summon, that's just one card, is an excellent play against back row such as Solemn Strike, against front row such as a Kirin or an Alkahest. But against floodgate type cards such as Vanity's Fiend, Vanity's Emptiness, Brilliant Fusion, or Instant Fusion, these cards are just as bad as another Yang Zing or another Metalfoes. Against Anti-Spell Fragrance, Brilliant, Instant, etc., these are, again, slightly better than the Metalfoes if your opponent bricked and can't kill you on the following turn, but most of the time the game is not going to last that long, so you can set a Brilliant and then on the following turn activate the Brilliant anyways. So games 2 and 3, you kind of lost your edge at going second, and also you have a decreased chance of drawing your outs such as Twin Twisters or Galaxy Cyclones, whatever you decided to run. The full-blown Metalfoes Yang Zing combo build or the Go Second build would be my picks if I were to play a large-scale event with Yang Zings in the current format. So that's the end of the video. I hope you guys can spread the word about YGOsingles.com, tell a friend, and also tell them about the discount code NY333YGO. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and again, best wishes to our Anaheim representatives on this weekend.